Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sound of Sergey podcast, episode 20. I'm recording this episode in the middle of an active tornado watch, so if I die, if that is my Bear Grylls documentary, so be it. We're in the middle of a tornado watch. I first learned about this morning on Yik Yak, which at this point is quite legitimately the most accurate news source on this planet. Learned this on Yik Yak. I didn't believe it. I went to my friend Caden. He's a meteorologist. He said, yes, there is a tornado watch tonight, possibility of a real tornado. And he asked me, will you go down to the shelters in your building if that happens? And I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you why. If there is a tornado, if there's a tornado, it's more than likely I just won't hear it. I will literally sleep through the tornado like a proper white trash middle American man. I'll just sleep through the tornado, out of sight, out of mind, and I'll wake up the next morning, rubble around me, like in the open air, like it will be destroyed. My building will have collapsed to the ground, and I'll just stand there. My bed is what's been like carved out. That's the only thing that survived. I'll wake up in the open air being like, what happened here? That is more than likely what will happen if there is an actual tornado. And if I do by any chance wake up, if there's like an alarm, I will not go down to the shelters. Here's exactly what I will do. I will wear boxer shorts and put on my Hugh Hefner robe. I will put on my aviator sunglasses, walk down the stairs. I will walk outside the door, walk outside in the rain, completely soaked, face the tornado like a man, look at it dead in the face, and tell it to grow some balls and do something. I dare you to do something. I'm going to go out there, look at it in the face like a red-blooded American. And that's what I'm going to do if a tornado comes and approaches me. I don't care. Listen, because here's the way I see it. I don't presume that anything will happen, because that's something interesting. That is something that is entertaining, that has value in your life, which I don't believe will happen. Now, of course, I say that there was literally a tornado in this area months ago, but the idea that I would be in the crossfire of I don't buy that, because here's the fact of the matter, and this is not going to be popular. Most people are not going to like the fact that I'm saying this because it makes them feel bad. Makes them feel like they're not special. Makes them feel like they don't have all the Chuck E. Cheese coins. Makes them feel like they don't have the #1 Instagram account. Like they're not the center of the universe, and many people believe that they are the center of the universe. Many people wake up and they think, yes, this world is about me. This is the $100 million blockbuster movie. I am the star. I'm so perfect. I'm so interesting. My life is so valuable that I'm the star of this epic, like Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia level movies. 99% of people think that that is what's going on in their life. The fact of the matter is, the true reality is there are about 5 actual things that happen in your life. There are about 5 things that happen in your life. If your life was a movie, it would have 5 scenes. That's the thing that I hate. That's the reason I hate memoirs. Because there's 2 reasons you should ever write a memoir. If you are an accomplished person before, like if you're like some famous actor, if you're like some famous writer, if you're like Bill Gates or who, like Joe Rogan, like if you're some famous person who's come a long way, you want to write a memoir, that's one reason why you should write a memoir, so you can write down your experiences, inspire the next generation. The other reason you should write a memoir is if you've just had the most insane life, like if you have like snorted coke, if you've sat there and like been in war, like if you've done some insane top tier level stuff that no one has ever done before. Those are the only 2 reasons you should ever write a memoir. We sit there in English class and read some of the dumbest books ever because she wants us to read someone's memoir. She wants us to read this is my story, and I'm so important because I was raised on a farm. I don't care. You didn't even invent Did you invent the iPhone? Did you invent TikTok? The Chinese dude who invented TikTok for Xi Jinping, the Chinese sweatshop worker who invented the iPhone for Steve Jobs, I will read their autobiography. I will read their memoir. The dude, if you're just a white chick living in Ohio and you want to write a memoir because you enjoyed the times going to Sonic, I'm not going to, how about that? You can write it. You should write it. And no one will buy it because no one cares. I don't care. And you know what? If someone buys it, more power to you. I'm not going to read that. I will read your book if you're an accomplished person. I'll read your memoir if you have seen if you have literally communicated with Satan. If you've if you have if you've witnessed assassinations, plural. If you've seen JFK and Ronald Reagan get shot, if you've seen both of those, if you've been and literally seen behind, if you went to Jeffrey Epstein's island, I'll read your memoir. I'm not going to read your memoir about going to the football field and eating cheese sticks with your high school friends in rural Kentucky. I'm not going to read that because it doesn't benefit me. Because you're creating a product. You're creating a product right now. And the thing is, you have to sell a product. You have to have a reason for me. If I go into that bookstore, if I go into that shop, and you want me to buy it, you have to be offering me something. I'm putting down $15. $15. I'm putting down $15 to read about your life? I don't know your middle name. I'm putting down $16 of my tax-paying money to read about your life growing up in the big city. My father owned a pizza shop. I don't listen. That's why I don't believe that the tornado will come. That's why the tornado isn't going to hit me. And if it does, I'll go down there and I'll go in my Hugh Hefner robe. I'll go down there in boxer shorts and tell it to come and get me, grow some balls, and slap me in the face like a red-blooded American should. Or a Russian should. Here's the thing. Obviously, Sergey, my name is Sergey. I'm a Russian. There's no hiding it. I am a Russian person. There's no getting around it. And I can only imagine that this is literally what it was like to live in the Cold War. Just losing your job. Losing I have lost. People have stopped speaking to me because I am literally a Russian person. I'm not even being woe is me. I mean, I didn't like him anyway. But I know people. Here's what's funny about the war that's going on between Russia and Ukraine, and I predicted it before in the last episode, and it came true. Here's what's funny about this war. The war itself is not funny, but one of the things that's happening that I'm noticing that is amusing, because I myself am a Russian. Now that this war is happening, I am a Russian, and as a Russian, for about the next 8 months, I am not allowed to speak about literally any issue. I've sat there with the group of friends and they will look at me like I did it. It's that's the guy who ran the tanks. And it's no, not the guy who ran the tanks. Not true. So I don't know what you want from me. I've literally sat there. This is great. And I swear on my life, I mean this in all my heart and soul. We were sitting there, group of 8 people. There was me and a couple chicks and a couple dudes. We were going around the room. We had gotten on the topic of Russia and Ukraine. We had gotten on that topic and we were going around the room. And one chick goes, yeah, what's happening in Ukraine is really horrible. And everyone's yeah, shaking their head. Next chick goes, yeah, it's super tragic. Yeah, head shaking. And then it literally goes to me. And I'm yeah, I think. And it's just the second I said it, everyone just turns to me. You would have thought the way they looked at me after I just dared to speak about an issue, the way they looked at me, you would have thought I said, I'm not racist, but that phrase, you would have thought that I just said, here's what I think about the Jews. You would have thought that I had said the most heinous thing, like life-changing. And the best part was, now that they're all turned to me, I realize I have to be careful about what I say. I wasn't going to say anything insane anyway, but I realize I have to be a little more careful about what I say because their eyes are on me. They expect me to basically say that Putin is Jesus. They expect me to say all this horrible stuff, and I literally just go there and I tell my true thoughts. Yeah, I think this war is it's really horrible. I think it's bad. And then one of the chick swore on my life, hand on my heart, cross my heart, hope to die. I say that, and one of the chicks goes, yeah, it is tragic, Sergey. Like, that's the tone. That's the tone of what she said to me in that moment. That's the tone. And, like, never in my life. I mean, like, people hate me. Like, there's no way. Like, war or no war, I'm not a likable, like, I'm loud, I'm disagreeable, I yell at, there's no way. I mean, I was sitting in my English class and oh my Lord, that English class. I mean, I'm convinced, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, when I put my head on the pillow at night, I'm truly convinced that English class may be the perfect representation of why America will die. I mean, like, truly, half the article, first thing, I'm not going to go into detail on her because I think she's a good person. I think she has good intent. I don't think she's doing this with malice at all. I mean, I think she's trying to be a good person. But half the article she gives us to read is like 10 reasons why ISIS treats women better than America. And it's like, what? Huh? It's like, what? She'll give us an article and like the title will be like New York Times op-ed. Why Ghislaine Maxwell should run for president 2024. Why? They say, what? Huh? What? I swear on my life, we were sitting there 2 days ago where she sat there and brought up how Barney the dinosaur, literally Barney, the purple dinosaur, reinforced gender stereotypes and why we need to cancel him. Swear on my life. And this is a good person. Like, I've talked to her outside of class. Like, I was heading up like to the parking lot and she happened to park there too. So I ran and I was like, hey, what's up? And we had a conversation. And she was a good person. Don't even ask me how, because I don't know. I don't pay attention half the time. Somehow we got on the topic of marital rape. And like, by the way, I in that class usually have like the hottest takes. Because again, remember, everyone in that class is like, oh yeah, this is why Phineas and Ferb is actually racist and should be canceled and nuked to China. It's like, what? It's like all this stuff, and it's like why Xi Jinping is awesome. It's like that's half the stuff we talk about, and half the people in the class are like, "Yay, yay!" It's like practically cheering. That's half the people in that classroom. The other 40% are sitting there terrified to say anything. They want to disagree. They're terrified to say anything. The other 10% is me, this trans person, this chick who is in computer sciences. And in the class, there's this chick named Lindsay. And if only I could be as truly just with the lack of knowledge, just pure ignorance on every facet and every dimension of this human being. This true ignorance. I mean it when I say this. You can ask anyone else in that class if you happen to find them. We were talking about marital rape. I don't know how. I guess it was in a book we read. So that was the topic of discussion. And we were talking about, what's going on. And on my life, raises her hand. Teacher calls on her, yes, Lindsay. And Lindsay stands up to the whole class and without a quaver in her voice, just stands there and is like, well, I mean, if you're married, you're kind of signing up for it. And just the whole class just dead silent. They don't even know what to say. Again, this is the class where they're talking about Barney is genocidal. Like they're talking about that. This is the class. They don't know what to do. They're dumbfounded. They don't know how to like their brain stopped working. And the professor even looks over. Like, she thinks she's joking. She thinks Lindsay is joking. The professor doesn't know what to say. You can see on her face the gears that turn her brain just like creak up like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz. You don't even know what to do. You're just sitting there, jaws to the ground, eyes wide open. You don't know what is going on. And then she sits down and then looks around the room and just goes, I stand by what I said. That's what I love, is that, like, there's literally the worst people, including me, the worst people on every side of any spectrum ever are included in that and say the dumbest stuff. My friend Colton said the smartest thing anyone has ever said in that classroom the other day, where he was just like, you have to weigh your options sometimes. I was like, that was the most rational thing that anyone has ever said in that classroom since the day the doors opened. But anyway, what I was trying to say about, like, here's what I mean when I bring that up. Here's what I mean when I bring up the story of the English class. I'll be sitting there and I'll swipe. And on Tinder, I've been swiping. I've found like several people in that lineup that I've seen. And I've been so tempted to swipe. Yeah, I'm revealing how dumb I am. I'm revealing how much of an old man I is. Which one is the good direction? Which means you like him. I don't even know. I was so never in my life. I've been so tempted to swipe right and give the person a like that I've seen in that English 200 class, because that's a discussion class. And you know me, I raise my hand and I discuss. And people know me. They've heard me talk. So, like, people know what I'm thinking. I make it transparent. And so I've never been so tempted than to just like them on Tinder to further sever any chance of just any, like, basic goodwill. Like, there's, like, the idea that they would date, that was never a possibility. That was never not even on the plane, and that's okay. I hate half of them anyway. I mean, they're cool, but I hate half of them anyway. That's okay. But, like, the idea that, like, I mean, like, on a basic human, like, if you walk past, like, there are the people who you walk past on the street. You don't even have to talk to them. You just walk past them on the street and you hate them. You wish ill to them. You wish that their family has sadness. Like, the people who you hate on just such a primal, basic level, like, that's what they have for me. After everything. I mean, like, we're on 20 episodes. The fact that I made 20 episodes says something about my character. It certainly has something to say about that. The fact that whoever's listening, right? The fact that you are listening to even one episode says something about your character. Now, what does that say? I'm not going to say if that's bad or good, because I want my listeners to say so I can get money. But the idea that, like, if you are a good person, you're not going to yell about tornadoes and bad lives. It's just not going to happen. It's not. My screenwriting class hates me because I pitched a movie of Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, and they hate me. They hated me before, but they hate me even more now. The group of friends that I used to talk to, they don't talk to me anymore. I literally gave this chick, it was her birthday, I gave this chick a present, and someone else gave her, it was a Sonic plushie, someone else gave her a Sonic shot glass. And I gave her a Sonic plushie because we knew that she was a Sonic person. And I literally, like, someone gave her a calendar of birds. She started crying. Started tearing up and bawling because of a calendar of birds. I give her a Sonic like this gift that I've given to her. She literally doesn't even say thank you. She opens the gift, sees that it's from me, and goes, "Wow, look at that," and then moves on to the next gift. Doesn't say. I mean, like, people don't like other people. Now I realize I've been called cynical. The people who say that are correct. There was a chick that I dated once, and she broke up with me, and she was like, "You're always negative." I mean, I can't argue with her. Like, I don't have anything to say against that. She's not wrong. She definitely read the room correctly. All right, we're back after a short break. I had some friends listen in on the recording to give it a test run, and unanimously they said I sounded like I was rambling like an insane person. I don't disagree with them. That's a common complaint. Even just in real life, people complain to me. They're like, "Sergey, all you ever talk about is things you hate. You just rant. You just talk about what you don't like. You don't offer any solutions." And they're right. So I'm going to offer some solutions now. I'm going to offer what I think are some good things, some models to be followed, some people, some things, some places I think are doing it right. Number one, Trisha Paytas, who is it? Trisha Paytas. She's this blonde chick, goes on H3. I don't know how you say her. Her name's Trisha. Me and her love her to death. Me and her share a birthday, May 8th. Me, her, the old guy from Jurassic Park, and Tekashi 6ix9ine all share the same birthday. So we're in that club, but I love Trisha Paytas, and I'll tell you why. Trisha Paytas sat there, does OnlyFans now, sat there, got made fun of for like 3 years by Ethan from H3 and H3, got made fun of for 3 years, then went on the podcast, and we're just like, I don't care. I'm making $1 million. You're making $1 million. This is all fake. This is all fake. Nothing matters. This is all not true. This is all performative. It's like the Will Smith thing. The Will Smith slapping Chris. I don't understand how people can truly look at that and be like, oh yeah, there's no way that's fake. There's no way that that's staged. It's one thing if you just don't think it was, but the idea that it's like completely out of the realm of possibility, like, oh no, these people who are paid to professionally at all times pretend to be something they're not, how could they ever go and do something that's staged? Like on a literal stage, like they're acting then. Like he's doing a monologue, he's doing comedy. So that's what I'm trying to say. Sort of like the Will Smith, Chris Rock slap situation. Trisha Paytas, Ethan from that dumb show, they sat there, they pretended to be enemies. They came on and they're like, actually, we like each other. We're cool. I think she's like getting pregnant with his brother, or like, I don't know what's going on, but she's out there living the example. She doesn't even have to open her mouth. She's out there living the example that, hey, this is all fake. I mean, like even and on any sort of scale, this means nothing to anyone except they put it on in the background when they don't want to think about how depressed their whole life is. Now, here's the thing. People will get on to me. They'll ask me, Sergey, do you mean what you say on the podcast? And it's like half the time I'm talking about how Jeffrey Epstein should start a religion and team up with Bernie Sanders. So no, I'm not. I don't know how I can be more clear about the fact that no, when I'm talking about Ghislaine Maxwell being the first woman president, I don't actually mean that. The stories I tell are true. The donut story, the gold chain necklace story, that's true. The gallon story. But like, will you use common sense when I go on here and I'm talking about like communists taking over the galaxy? Like, no, I'm not being serious. You know, I talked about the chick who didn't say thank you when I gave her the Sonic plush, and that was on her. She should have said thank you. That was rude of her. That was her fault. She should have said thank you when I gave her the Sonic plush for her birthday, and that was mean of her not to do that. And one of the reasons she and the rest of them don't like me is that I don't know how, but somehow her and those chicks dug up my old TikTok account, which I made because I lost a bet or something. I think it was, I did like a challenge. It was like, do whatever, and then I'll make a TikTok. And so I made a TikTok. I made like 8. Somehow they found the TikTok account, and they were like coming and like, have you ever thought about your digital footprint? As if that's the TikTok is the least controversial stuff I've ever said. The TikTok is literally being like, hey, look at this sandwich. It's not made well. Hey, I'm on the beach. Stormy day. Am I right? It's like, it's the least of like that. I don't even know how he could gain controversy from it, unless they're just saying it's stupid, which, yeah, I don't. No, you know what? Knowing them, I swear on my life, knowing them, they probably mean, hey, think about your digital footprint. You're posting this and like you don't even have makeup on. You're posting this and your hair isn't even done. Like, knowing them, that's what they meant by digital footprint, is my outfit wasn't good that day when I made the TikTok videos. Knowing them, that's what they meant by that. But, they're talking to me about my digital footprint and what I post online and what others can see. And I don't care. I don't care what I post. The fact that I'm making a podcast shows I don't care. And this is true life advice, and I mean every word of this. The less you care about all things, the better off you will be in literally every sense of the word. And I'm not joking when I say that. I truly mean that. I was the president of the varsity choir in my high school my senior year, and I got it. It was an election. The people in the choir elected. They voted. It was me and 2 other chicks. One of the chicks goes up there, starts crying about, oh, I love choir and the pastor. It's like, all right, let's calm down a little bit. And then the other chick literally threatened people if they didn't vote for her. She was like, if you don't vote for me, you know what's going to happen. It's like, what's going on? Like, I was the only person who was like, hey, let's do this, have fun. And I got it. And every single time, president of the varsity choir or not, every single time I ever audition for anything, and I mean this to the fullest extent, anytime I cared even the slightest bit, nope, went to someone else. Every time I went there and I was like, who cares, I'll just do this, and I was like, it means nothing, I got it every single time. There's something in the universe, there's something in the laws of nature that dictates that if you care about something, the chances of you getting it go exponentially down. And likewise, inversely, the less you care about something, the more likely you are going to get it. And you should just not care about stuff just in general, because don't get too attached, because it's meaningless. Even if you do get it, it's not going to mean anything. I was on the radio. That's like my only credit in an actual true broadcast institution. And I was fired because I didn't know enough about sports. It was 6 months. Half the time I don't even remember that I had a job as a radio host. I don't remember because I don't care. That's probably why I got fired. But I never cared. The first episode I ever made of my TV show ever was like interviewing people, like what would they do basically if they got caught like sexually harassing people. I asked them what they would do if they got caught staring at a hot guy or a hot chick. What would you do? I didn't care in even because you can't. You're going to be in the exact same spot in your life forever. You're not going to advance in any way, shape, or form, and all because you care too much and you didn't let go enough. You just need to loosen up. The people who do DMT, they're right. You got to loosen up. You can't be like, ah. No, you can't do that. You got to just sit there, go there, slam your balls on the table, come in there with the confidence of a monster. And just don't care what anyone says. If anyone's like, hey, shut up. If anyone's like, hey, well, what about, shut it. When the president of the United States goes on TV and doesn't know the difference between Iran and Ukraine, you can't care. When Donald Trump, the only interview he's doing is with the Nelk Boys, and he's talking about how YMCA is the gay national anthem. When that's you can't care. If that's the level, you can't care. What all of life has been doing for the past 15 years, just keep lowering and lowering and lowering the bar until one day movies are just going to be, you're just going to go to the theater and sit down, stare at a screen of just still image of Spider-Man for 3 hours, and and people are going to, it's just going to be, woo, yay! And like, that's what movies are going to be, and it's going to win every Oscar in the book. They're going to invent new Oscars for that movie. The sequel to Batman is going to be a 90-second TikTok, 19-minute end credits. People charge $30 a ticket. Woo! It's the best movie ever made. It's better than The Dark Knight. I mean, how long until they just stop making visual content? I'm not even kidding. One of these days, they're just going to write scripts for release. That will be the final product, is a screenplay. No intention of making it, no intention of directing, creating an actual... They will spend 2 days making Spider-Man 4 the screenplay, release it on Disney Plus, the ebook app, and it's going to make $400 million. One of these days, it's not even going to be movies being made. It's going to be, they'll just make screenplays and they'll just release them out into the world. That's what you buy. Like, that's what is going to happen in like 5 years. That's where we're going to be. At a certain point, I can't fight it. I'm looking forward to it. You don't even imagine the day when I can just go on here, make a 30-second podcast where I'm just like, and like literally put in that much effort, 30 seconds, and I get $1 million. When that happens, I will be extraordinarily happy. So please keep tuning in until I can hold out, until the day happens when so many kids have ADHD that like the maximum film length is 19 seconds. The maximum podcast length is like literally -2 minutes. Like, that's how it's going to be. So please hold out on me until everything I create is going to be 5 seconds long, and it's going to require literally 0 effort. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Sound of Sergey episode 20. Thank you for holding out with me until the average podcast length is 90 seconds. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for listening to the crazy, insane rant that I have just vomited into this microphone. Thank you for tuning in and not caring that that the world is dying, that the world is literally ending. Thank you so much for being a good person. You are a good person. And I don't mean that. But I don't mean it when I say that you're a good person. Neither am I. But thank you at least for being good enough to tune into this podcast. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. It means so much to me that you care. I love each and every... I won't even say that. I can't. If most of you are fine. Most of you are fine enough. The people who like post this and be like, what does he mean by the... Whatever. But like 99% of you, I love you to death. I want the best for you. Thank you so much. And I will see you next episode.